Maybe you're just detecting, a mutant like Magneto. But no. Though I'd believe in mutants before I believe aliens have been to Earth. But anyway, here we go. So 33, let's read some of the description here. 33% of Americans believe in UFOs. That explains how Trump got in office. And 1 in 10 Americans believe they have seen a UFO, according to a 2012 study by the National Geographic Channel, because, the National Geographic Channel is as legit as they come. Confirmed UFO sightings have been reported. Simultaneous magnetic and electromagnetic disturbances like cars sputtering and magnetic compasses spinning wildly. Woo. The UFO detector is designed to sense these magnetic and electromagnetic disturbances. Continual 24/7 monitoring of its surrounding area. It's very easy to use. Blue LEDs light in a rotating circular pattern in monitoring mode. So, the circling lights, it's very... I don't know. That looks like something out of a sci-fi movie, I guess. That could be interesting. Includes a 9-volt wall adapter in sculpted case. And it's not the biggest thing. So anyway, very easy to use. You just plug it in, set it up, and away you go. Let's read some of the reviews. Actually, here's a little more of the product description. The real question, UFO sightings are reported all over the planet by thousands of people. The real question is whether UFOs are interstellar vehicles visiting Earth. Most UFO sightings can be classified as misidentified aircraft. Oh, well, at least they're a little bit honest. So maybe you can kind of trust this seller. It does have an Amazon's Choice badge on it. That's something. Let's see, misidentified aircraft, planets, or other aerial phenomena, but not all of them. There is a small percentage of UFO sightings that can't be explained by known aircraft or natural phenomena. By known aircraft. It is the small percentage of UFO sightings that create an exciting possibility. And that's why you can buy this device. So let's look at some of the reviews here. Here's some of the customer question and answers. We could look at those first. How sensitive are these detectors? That's the question. Not enough to work well. You have to hold it right under the ship in order for it to work. And by that time, you're already being anally probed by little gray dudes. It's a solid point to bring up, right? Might already be getting anally probed before this thing actually goes off. But then maybe you'll go off. Let's see. Will this product be delivered by a UFO? USPS or USPS, but not UFO. Important information. That's good. Does this blue lighted detector work as well as the red lighted one? And can they be used in tandem for greater sensitivity? Whatever color you like, since either will be completely useless. Well, I guess that kind of points to what I was saying. But let's see. If my girlfriend is an alien, how would I go about detecting this? That's an important question. Have you seen her naked? Have you seen her naked? Is the answer and response. Well, I saw Femalien. What a great movie. I've seen a few of those. They look awfully human to me. But anyway, so let's see. Be careful with this thing. Here's one of the first reviews. Be careful with this thing. Please read. This is from 2018. Get 4-star review though. I am a scientist. Like everyone else that has purchased and reviewed this item, I thought it was a hoax. I also felt like I needed to take it a step further and do a little data analysis on this device. Most, if not all of the reviewers that plugged this device in experienced some sort of interface with a UFO. One guy said it does not work at all. This led me down a path to do a little statistical analysis on the device, and I really came up with some interesting data. To make a long peer-reviewed paper short in abstract, this device is not a UFO detector.
The call to freedom is...
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,291, silver at $14.91, and Bitcoin is trading around $5,897. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, an Israeli newspaper has published in Hebrew a leaked draft of the Trump administration's deal of the century for the Israel-Palestine conflict. The draft was given to the newspaper by an official from Israel's foreign ministry, which is currently headed by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The plan, which has been drafted by President Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and Jason Greenblatt, is expected to be released this June after the conclusion of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. Mint Press News reports the published draft contains several new and troubling claims, including the Trump administration's plan to force Palestinian leadership to accept the plan through threats of economic strangulation and military force. If Palestinian leadership rejects the Trump administration's peace plan, the United States will respond aggressively by ensuring that no country in the world transfer money to Palestine, which would apparently be accomplished through U.S. sanctions. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices, with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. French authorities are investigating the suspicious death of an Italian intelligence agent after he was found lying in a pool of his own blood and vomit with a serious wound to his chin. The Mind Unleashed reports that French magazine Le Point identifies the agent only as 50-year-old Massimo I, who had been living in the hotel where he was found dead since May 3rd, arriving that same day from Rome. He was carrying a business card in his name, mentioning his employer as Presidenza del Consiglio del Ministri, or the Presidency of the Italian Council of Ministers, currently headed by Giuseppe Conte. French security sources have said that Massimo was a member of the Italian intelligence services, while the Italian embassy in Paris says it believes he died of natural causes, and that the gaping wound could have been caused during a fall. The hotel room contained an encrypted security key, $1,900, a USB key, an SD card adapter, and an SD card. It's been reported that classified documents were also found. Iran President Hassan Rouhani has announced that Tehran is pulling out of key commitments under a 2015 international nuclear deal, 1 year after it was abandoned by the United States. The anti-media reports that Rouhani said Iran would keep enriched uranium stocks in the country rather than sell them abroad, and threatened to resume production of high-enriched uranium if world powers did not protect its interests against U.S. sanctions. In a speech broadcast on national television Wednesday, Rouhani said the remaining signatories, Britain, France, Germany, China, and Russia, had 60 days to make good on their promise to protect Iran's oil and banking sectors. Rouhani has written to the leaders of those countries, saying it will start rolling back some of its commitments under the 2015 nuclear deal Wednesday, and will no longer sell enriched uranium in heavy water to other nations. Rouhani warned of a firm response if Iran's nuclear case is referred again to the United Nations Security Council, but said Tehran was ready for negotiations over its nuclear program. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Big tech news this week as Microsoft has unveiled its new generation Xbox One. Designers say the console's revolutionary new voice command feature makes it easier than ever for the Xbox to control its users. According to Microsoft spokesman Don Matrick, quote, "The Xbox One is programmed with a host of simple voice commands that you will respond to instantly. In addition to phrases like jump, shoot, and insert game disc, users will also understand more complicated instructions like download Call of Duty Update or come into the room and turn on Xbox."
The Xbox One tells us what games to play, what music to listen to, what shows to watch.
Watch TV.
And with that simple command, I'm watching live TV.
The new Xbox's high-tech sensors can also detect your expression and tell when you're looking away from the television.
Andy, look back at the TV.
Microsoft says the new Xbox can also command you using your smartphone or tablet. TechBuzz is raving, quote, "It's the immersive obedience experience we've been waiting for."
Welcome to the Call to Freedom. It is Thursday, May the 9th, 2019. I'm, of course, your host, Arya DeMezzo, composer of the music that you are currently hearing. You can listen to it in full at soundcloud.com/Arya DeMezzo. I've got cool news on that note, but you'll have to follow me on Twitch if you want to find out what that is. That's twitch.tv/Arya DeMezzo, because I'm not ready to talk about it at this exact moment, but it's cool, and I'm excited about it. And as always, I'm joined in the studio by
Michael Hampton from BitcoinHistory.com.
And it's an interesting day for news because there's a lot going on, not a lot of it really worth discussing in depth, but a lot of which absolutely has to be mentioned, right? Like the Trump tax return thing showing that he lost nearly $2 billion, which...
That's a lot of money to lose.
It is. But Trump is bad with money, it would seem. But, I mean, I really don't have any desire to actually dive into the implications of it or even to the, the fact that, oh, we suddenly have this guy's tax returns and it's not as interesting as we expected it to be.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the New York Times said. We got his tax returns. They're not all that interesting. That was the headline.
I don't know what people expected. And, I really don't blame Trump for not releasing his tax returns because you're going to end up with a lot of stupid people who don't understand how taxation actually works, trying to pour over it and figure out things from it. And they don't have the intellectual capacity or the education to even understand what they're looking at. So I don't blame him for not doing it, but for some reason, suddenly they're out and it's made headlines, but I don't really care. So that's a thing that happened. Other cool news, of course, you can now use Bitcoin Cash to buy video game licenses for PC and presumably other consoles, but I don't know. At the moment, it's limited to Steam, Origin, and Uplay. So it isn't other consoles, it's just PC at the moment, and that's really cool.
That still covers a lot of games.
It does, and I'm glad to see the development because Steam, Valve, used to take Bitcoin directly. They stopped doing it because the prices of Bitcoin fluctuated and transaction fees were unpredictable, so it stopped being economically feasible for them to accept it. I bet they were regretting that decision when it hit, $20,000.
No, it was still a good decision, because the fee on one of those transactions could be almost as much as the cost of the game.
Yeah, I agree that, it was a good decision to stop accepting Bitcoin.
But they could have accepted something else.
They should have taken Dash or Bitcoin Cash, definitely.
Right.
But now there are workarounds, and I like how this is developing because it doesn't require the company itself to take cryptocurrency. Of course, there's Save It Purse. I think it's Purse.io.
Purse.io, yeah.
Where you can buy from Amazon directly using cryptocurrency. And there's also the Lightning Network thing. I don't remember the details of it, but Chris Reitman, who hosts Free Talk Live, has done it, where you can actually use Bitcoin on the Lightning Network to order pizza from Domino's.
Yeah, I don't know how he did. I haven't gotten into the Lightning Network yet. From all I've heard, it's a little not yet quite user-friendly. So,
well, I mean, it's just like any other Bitcoin wallet. The wallet I use, I don't even remember what it's called now. It's on my broken phone. So technically I'm not on the Lightning Network right now. I do have cryptocurrency in that wallet that's just sitting there being useless because I can't do anything to fix that phone when they keep sending me the incorrect parts. So that sucks. But, and now you can buy video games with Bitcoin Cash and Dash, and it looks like Litecoin and a few others. I'm not exactly sure. Doge, even Vertcoin is on here.
Oh my!
Which is surprising because Vertcoin, it crashed and burned hard.
Yeah, how did?
But it's not just crappy games, which is what you would expect, and it's what I expected. But they turned out to be in alphabetical order, which is really not a good decision on their part because there's a lot of really crappy games on Steam that exploit alphabetical order
and start with A.
Yeah, in order to get themselves views and things like that, and they're ultimately games that no one will ever buy.
Yeah, no one ever wants to.
But you can use Vertcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Dash, and some others now to buy video games without Valve or Steam having to directly accept them. So what else are we going to see going forward that people can buy. I mean, there's also, I think you can get some stuff from Home Depot with some website using cryptocurrency. So it's a really cool way. It's not ideal, right? Because it still requires a fiat currency in order to facilitate these transactions, because these people don't actually sell you the game directly. They buy it from Valve with, USD.
Right, and they send you the key.
Yeah, and you buy it from them with Bitcoin Cash. So they're basically just trading USD for Bitcoin Cash, which is good. It's an improvement, and it's consumer friendly. But it won't allow us to eliminate USD from the equation as long as that's the way we're doing it. And I think the goal of cryptocurrency is absolutely to remove USD from the equation.
Yeah, or any fiat currency.
Yeah, the cool thing about this is that you can price the games directly in Bitcoin Cash or Dash or Vertcoin or whatever. Like Galactic Civilizations 3 is currently on sale for 0.026 Bitcoin Cash. Even Civilization 6 you can find on there for 0.19 Bitcoin Cash. It's very cool. For me, it's a more useful way of doing things than USD.
Oh, yeah.
In this particular regard, because I don't have to translate it. I go, oh, okay, well, it doesn't really matter to me what the USD value of Bitcoin Cash is.
Yeah, I've got enough Bitcoin Cash for that.
Because I've got more than enough Bitcoin Cash for that. The issue I'm having is that I need to transfer some of my Bitcoin Cash into Bitcoin. And I can't do that because Shapeshift requires two-factor authentication, and the phone that handles the two-factor authentication is currently pulled apart, sitting in a box in my closet, waiting on the actual parts I need to arrive.
Oops.
So that's a cool development. I'm excited to see stuff like this. I would prefer to see the companies themselves directly take cryptocurrency. But I think we're probably still a long way for that. Once they start seeing people buying games and things like that with this cryptocurrency, they may actually start to do it because, we're sort of missing out on all of these sales and things like that because we're not taking this currency that people want to use.
Right.
So maybe if enough people use the Lightning Network to order Domino's will ultimately go, you know what, we should just take this cryptocurrency directly. And we may have some accountant who sits around all day selling the cryptocurrency we get for USD because we don't want to hold it. I don't know how they would do it. I imagine that's probably what they would do. But, there's other stuff going on. There's the couple who died from the bubonic plague after eating raw rodent meat as a folk remedy. And
oh, my goodness.
There's really nothing to discuss in that except to point at them and laugh and go, oh my God, did they really eat?
How stupid are you?
They really ate a raw marmot. That's so incredibly stupid. I didn't even know you could still get the bubonic plague.
Yeah, that rodents still carry it.
Well, clearly. So the idea, a 6-day quarantine in Mongolia has been lifted following the death of a couple who died from the bubonic plague, that's the Black Death, after eating raw marmot meat as a folk remedy for good health. BBC reports that this quarantine kept a number of tourists locked down in the area, blah, blah, blah. None of this is really important. I want to talk about the rodent. Humans usually get the plague after being bitten by a rodent flea that is carrying the plague, or by handling an animal infected with the plague. The bubonic plague is infamous for killing millions of people in Europe. I believe it's the only time that the death rate actually exceeded the birth rate.
Yeah, pretty much.
Without prompt treatment, the disease can cause serious illness or death. Presently, human plague infections continue to occur in the western United States, but significantly more cases occur in parts of Africa and Asia. Interesting. So it's interesting for me to learn that, the bubonic plague is alive and well. It appears to be mostly a western United States issue. Looking at the map here, it's mostly Arizona, New Mexico, a little bit in Nevada, Utah, Colorado that get hit with the plague.
But people keep eating marmots.
Especially raw. You don't want to eat raw meat anyway, but especially not a rodent. To me, that, maybe it's a cultural thing. I find the idea of eating a rodent to be absolutely disgusting. But don't go anywhere. We're going to be back in a minute. We're going to tell you about these students who walked out because they didn't want to be political puppets of an anti-gun agenda.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love, and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way,
love as your guide,
and liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom, and as always, you're invited to give us a call at 603-283-6160. Again, that's 603-283-6160. Or if you want clearer quality, you can use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm. Now, there's a lot happening with guns at the moment. I just came across this headline of more than 1,000 guns being seized at a home in California. And we're going to get into that because that is a lot of guns.
Yeah, that's not your usual number of guns for a suburban family in L.A.?
Well, it wasn't a suburban family, it seems. It was just some older guy who evidently was just a seriously hardcore gun enthusiast.
Okay, so a collector. In that case, maybe.
I don't know, 1,000 guns. I don't know about collecting that many guns. At that point, I think most people are probably looking at you going, yeah, either you're planning a mass murder or you're just a psycho.
You don't need 1,000 guns for either of those.
No, but having 1,000 guns is certainly indicative of someone who is a bit unhinged, I would suggest.
Maybe.
But anyway, before we get into that, students have, and this headline is extremely confusing, not as confusing as another one I found, but students have walked out of a Colorado shooting vigil to condemn politics and the press. But that's not really why they walked out. The Washington Post sort of buried the actual motivation of this. Well, it is within the first paragraph of the article, but the headline itself suggests that, they're against the politicization of gun violence, and that's not what it is at all. So a vigil commemorating the victims of the STEM school shooting in Colorado ended in protest Wednesday evening after students said they refused to be used as pawns to promote gun control. And that's something that would happen in New Hampshire, I would think.
Yeah, that's not something I'd expect out of Denver.
Well, I don't know about, Colorado's sort of right-wing too, for the most part. Western Colorado has sort of been taken over by Democrats.
Kind of, but this is where Columbine happened, remember?
Maybe, but it's certainly something that I would expect to happen in New Hampshire, regardless of what city and state it did happen in. It seems like something that New Hampshire students would do because as liberal as New Hampshire is, it's also very conservative in other ways. It's a really unique place. It's sort of naturally libertarianish. And I hate saying that because I hate characterizing libertarianism as socially tolerant, fiscally conservative, or whatever idiotic spiel just Gary Johnson had to say. But in a lot of ways, that's not a totally invalid way of conveying libertarianism to people who are new to the idea. So hundreds of students attended the vigil. There were also teachers, activists, and elected officials to honor Kendrick Castillo, the 18-year-old who was fatally shot Tuesday at the STEM High School Highlands Ranch in suburban Denver. But Castillo? Yeah, it doesn't matter. His classmates were moved to protest after two invitees, Senator Michael Bennet and Representative Jason Crow, spoke. Many of the teenagers at the vigil at the nearby Highlands Ranch High School perceived the speeches as politicizing their trauma when they wanted their own voices heard. That sounds like something an adult would do, is tell the students who actually experienced the event to shut up and let the adults speak.
Yeah, adults are kind of, they do that.
Students stood and stormed out. Some clapped and united in chants, deriding what they saw as a political stunt. The school parking lot quickly filled with teenagers cursing at the press and holding backlit cell phones in the air. What happened at STEM is awful, but it's not a statistic. We can't be used for a reason for gun control. We are people, not a statement, one student said. Another teenager voiced similar frustration, saying, "I thought this was about us, not about politics." Oh, you poor little thing.
Yeah.
Did you really?
You're in a government school. Come on.
I miss being that naive, when I sincerely thought that politicians could come and speak at an event without using the students as political collateral. Earlier Wednesday, in the wake of the STEM school shooting, both Colorado politicians posted messages on Twitter endorsing changes to gun control laws. "We must pass common sense gun violence laws," Crow wrote, which is, what they passed in Venezuela, where the military is now murdering its own citizens.
Yeah, we see how that worked out.
And it happened, of course, in the Soviet Union. It happened in East Berlin. It happened in pretty much everywhere where they have implemented Nazi Germany, obviously.
Yeah.
Pretty much anywhere where they implemented, quote unquote, common sense gun control, there was shortly after a massacre of these citizens who no longer had any way whatsoever to resist. How else can you get people to go into the boxcar if they can't shoot back? Our children deserve to live in a world where they don't fear going to school, Bennett tweeted, echoing the sentiment. Something has to change. I agree,
yeah.
And the reason they fear going to school is because you make them be defenseless. If they weren't defenseless, they wouldn't be quite so afraid. I never hesitated to go around the city of Memphis, Tennessee, which has one of the highest murder rates in the world. Well, in the United States, sorry. But certainly within the United States, I never hesitated to walk around there because I had a loaded .38 in my purse, and I could use that to defend myself if I needed to. This wasn't a justification for me to put myself in knowingly dangerous situations. I certainly never did that. But I knew that if a dangerous situation presented itself to me, I was able to defend myself. So I didn't have to live in fear. No one has to live in fear. The only reason students do go to school in fear is because they are literally disarmed at the door.
Yeah.
And if they are disarmed because for whatever reason they felt like, they should have the right to defend themselves, they will be taken to jail and charged with, planning a school shooting or something like that.
Which is the opposite of what they were doing.
Right. If you want to fix this problem, if you want children to not live in fear, or teenagers to not live in fear, then allow them to freaking defend themselves from people who would hurt them. I don't understand why that's such a controversial and hard to understand thing for people.
I mean, that's the way it was before 1968, before the Gun Control Act passed.
Well, I mean, that's just the way it should be. I mean, it's obvious. If you have people with guns and some of them are bad, and the only way to stop those people is with guns, it follows logically, rationally, and emotionally that the best course of action is to carry your own gun. But of course, we don't let students do that because we become so overbearingly protective that we're like, oh no, this 16-year-old might accidentally shoot himself. This 12-year-old might accidentally shoot himself, in full disregard of how, in early America and even just within the last century, it was true that a 12-year-old was more than capable of holding a rifle and not shooting themselves in the head.
Yeah, your grandparents probably took their rifles to school.
Yeah,
ask them.
Even as early as 6 and 7 years old, historically, as long as kids know that these things are dangerous weapons, dangerous tools, they don't tend to do stupid things with them. This is the call to freedom. Don't go anywhere.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Hey, I'm LRN.FM Program Director Ian Freeman. If you're listening to our free-to-air satellite feed in North or Central America, heads up. We've been on the Galaxy 19 satellite since 2010, but now our satellite provider is moving LRN.FM to a new channel on a different transponder. The current channel will stay on the air until the end of May to give you time to transition without any loss of service, so don't delay. I've posted the new channel details at sat.lrn.fm, but in case you're listening with no internet access, if you do a blind scan on your receiver, you should see the new channel at transponder 6, 11.8425 gigahertz, horizontal polarization, symbol rate 22,000, FEC 3/4. All that information is at sat.lrn.fm, as well as a link to our Patreon, where you can support our channels for just $2 a month. Visit sat.lrn.fm for more information about our international satellite channels, and thanks for listening to LRN.fm.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.fm via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. And before we get back into the subject of gun control and the reasons why we're against it, I want to tell you about the Rational Review News Digest located at rationalreview.com. It's the Freedom Movement's daily news digest, aggregating stories from all over the internet that are of interest to libertarians and to liberty-minded people. They include podcasts, videos, blogs, and news articles, and are now a source for people to receive the Call to Freedom's podcasts. So be sure to check them out at rationalreview.com to stay up to date on all the happenings in the wider world. And we've been talking about these students who were not happy that they were being used as political puppets to promote gun control, which is curious because that sort of suggests to me that they are innately opposed to the idea of gun control. Because, I don't mind being used as a puppet to promote the cause of liberty. I actually have designed a shirt that says token trans chick that I want to wear because I think, first of all, I think it's freaking funny. But second of all, because, it's true, generally speaking, if that's an interesting hook that will push us closer to this cause that I am passionate about, I'm totally okay with that. But at the same time, it doesn't necessarily make me a puppet because I'm ultimately the one not merely consenting to it, but facilitating that. But we're joined now via telephone by John, who is calling from North Dakota, and who says that they have gun control issues up there. So, John, what's on your mind?
I honestly think that, the fear is that country invasion. But if we're going to have a country invasion, that's why the army, that's why we got police, and that's why we need to kill all niggers, kill niggers.
Yep. I said there was about a 75% chance of that happening. At least he was able to get himself we have a dump button, I should inform you. So everything you say, we can dump from the airwaves. You'll still get out on the 3 people watching on Twitch or DLive or whatever. Those aren't our primary platforms. So it doesn't really matter.
You don't go over the satellite feed. You're done.
Yeah, you're not on
Goodbye.
terrestrial radio. You got dumped. So sorry. I mean, he did at least finally make it through the screening process. So good on him for that. He finally learned something. I'm sort of happy about that he revealed himself to be not completely stupid, but obviously
he actually did call for North Dakota too.
What an idiot. Hey, you know we can dox you, by the way, John from North Dakota, if we cared to. I don't care to, but we could, because you're calling a radio show and we kind of do things professionally here.
And I have caller ID.
Yeah, so anyway, back to the subject of gun control. I think the solution to this is to stop putting kids into places where they, by definition, are not allowed to defend themselves against people who can break in with guns. To me, that's insane. If you know there is somebody out there capable of presenting a threat with a specific weapon that is ranged and that, will kill you very quickly and relatively easily, it's stupid to repeatedly put yourself into a situation where you have absolutely no way of defending yourself against that. Right?
Yeah, no, it's not just stupid, it's crazy.
It is crazy. And that's the issue that Tom Gray, who used to co-host the show with us, had with gun control laws in the first place and school shootings, is that these kids don't get a choice. In a lot of states, you're simply not allowed to opt out of public schools. And if you are, they make it so tedious, so difficult, that it might as well be considered to be impossible. So we force these kids to go to these places where they are defenseless and where someone can easily come in with a gun and murder a bunch of them. That's absurd. There's a reason that these lunatics aren't shooting up gun ranges. There's a reason they aren't shooting up libertarian headquarters.
Yeah, or the NRA convention.
Well, I don't think they actually allow guns into the NRA convention.
Oh, yeah, but yeah, true.
But, there's a reason they generally don't target places where they know there will be armed defenders. They don't shoot up police stations, right? And it's all because they're trying to do the most amount of damage they can to the most vulnerable people they can find. And I'm sorry to inform people of this. This is not a new thing, but it is a new thing that it's students that we have made into the most vulnerable, most defenseless population in the country.
Yeah, that part is new.
And it doesn't seem that people have issue with this. They think instead what we need to do is make everyone defenseless. And then, of course, you can have the military rolling its tanks through the streets running over people, and it's totally not a problem because we can't do anything about it. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. They look at the same evidence and the same situation that we do, and they arrive at the exact opposite conclusion because they're so colored by their emotional feelings about this that they're not seeing the actual solution that is right in front of their faces.
Yeah, and if you present it to them, they instantly reject it because, well, they're still having the emotional reaction.
Yep. So 3 days before graduation, Castillo was killed. A bullet hit the senior as he tried to tackle the shooter. 8 other students were injured when 2 people opened fire. According to the police, one of the shooters, I'm not going to read their names, one was male and one was female. Interesting enough.
That's different.
That is different. That is very different. And she was younger. I noticed that trend in high school as well. I always found it was odd that, seniors preferred to date, sophomore girls. I thought that was weird. I preferred dating girls who were my own age. But that, in that particular scenario, was weird, apparently. So there was a school shooting recently. 8 people were injured. It doesn't seem that anyone else died except Castillo, who tried to tackle the shooter. It is curious that one of these students was female. I think that's something that I think that's something that should be mentioned because so many
it's highly
people,
unusual.
It is. And it sort of reinforces this idea that, it's not limited to a male problem, which a lot of people do suggest. It's a human problem. You have sick people out there who want to hurt the innocent and the weak. And they find the weak and the innocent at schools. So, of course, if they're picking a place to shoot, that's where they're going to pick. It's stupid that we continue to put these people into situations where they are defenseless.
Well,
speaking of defenseless,
people are stupid.
Coming to us from CNN, more than 1,000 guns were found Wednesday in a home in the upscale Los Angeles neighborhood, Holmby Hills. Agents from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives and Los Angeles police officers served a search warrant in an investigation of someone suspected of manufacturing and selling illegal firearms. The property resembled a hoarder's house, and it took 30 law enforcement officials more than 15 hours to clear the house and remove all the weapons. Police also searched a home about 15 miles away near Chinatown, the source said. Police arrested Gerard Sands, 57, at the first house over allegations of violating California's law regarding assault weapons and .50 Browning machine gun rifles. The law prohibits the manufacture, distribution, transportation, importation, and sale of any assault rifle or .50 BMG rifles, except in specific circumstances, according to the California legislature.
So what is the federal ATF out here doing enforcing California's ridiculous state law?
Well, that's a really good question as well. And we're going to get more into this because this is absolutely ridiculous.
It's bonkers.
So don't go anywhere. This is the Call to Freedom.
Leave the man alone. Let him play with his guns. It's not hurting anyone.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Negotiation isn't just something union leaders and sports agents do. Your entire day is a series of negotiations. If you have young children, you know that. In fact, your kids can teach you a lot about negotiating with grown-ups. According to the world's greatest negotiator, Herb Cohen, author of You Can Negotiate Anything. Herb says that kids understand the process of decision-making within an organization. When one parent says no, they'll ask the other. And Cohen says children persist and persevere. And like smart negotiators of all ages, kids know that no is an opening bargaining position. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're a job seeker. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Oh!
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. And if you've ever wanted to have sex with cops, with prostitutes, no. I don't think anyone wants to have sex with cops. That's why there's so much domestic abuse in their relationships. If you've ever wanted to have sex with prostitutes and then arrest them, or bust people for drugs and then sell the drugs on the side for a nice little bonus, or just enjoy the power rush of being a cop without all the paperwork, then you should try the Thin Blue Line game, which can be found at thinbluelinegame.com. It's the only card game in the world that allows you to shoot someone over a broken taillight and then escape accountability with the magical phrase, "I feared for my life." You know, typical cop stuff. Get it now at thinbluelinegame.com. Assault and battery is not included, but for a limited time, you can order your copies and use the coupon code CTF to have all shipping costs waived. So go get it. Again, that's thinbluelinegame.com. Stephen TVP, who is watching us at dlive.lrn.fm, has asked Aria, "You don't dance?" I don't know what he's referring to.
Dance?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why you're asking. That's why I'm bringing it up on the air. I don't know what you're referring to or what you're getting at. It seems like a really random question. Anyway, so if you want to fill me in on what exactly you're talking about and why you're asking it, that would be great. So Facebook is our favorite butt monkey here on the Call to Freedom because they can't do anything right. They are so terrible at everything. And I've had my own experience, my own issue with Facebook for the last several days, and there's absolutely no way to fix it, right? There just isn't. The technical support button there, all it does is let them know that there's a technical issue. There is nowhere to explain what that technical issue is.
That's bizarre.
It's absolutely bizarre. So Facebook co-founder Chris Hugh, believes it's time to break up the company that he helped start and says that Mark Zuckerberg's power is unprecedented and un-American. I don't know about un-American, but I mean, it's unprecedented.
Yeah, that much is true.
The growing chorus calling for Facebook's breakup. I mean, what do they want? How are you going to break up Facebook?
Yeah, what do you even break it up into?
But Chris Hugh, one of the social media giants co-founders and Mark Zuckerberg college roommate, is joining that chorus. In an op-ed published in the New York Times on Thursday, he laid out a scathing case for the government to crack down on Facebook and scale back Zuckerberg's power. Well, they don't like competition. So he argued that regulators should unwind the company's acquisition of WhatsApp and Instagram, create space for more competition, and enact new privacy legislation that restricts what data Facebook can collect in the United States. He said that while he doesn't believe Zuckerberg has nefarious intentions, the powers he's amassed at the helm of Facebook is unprecedented and un-American. Facebook isn't afraid of a few more rules, he wrote. It's afraid of an antitrust case and the kind of accountability that real government oversight would bring. Okay, but who's going to engage in this oversight of the government as you allow the government to dictate what Facebook can and can't do? Facebook has come under increasing scrutiny amid a cascade of scandals that at times seems never ending. Calls for the company to be broken up and face stricter regulation have increased, including some of the loudest from Senator Elizabeth Warren, a progressive firebrand and 2020 presidential candidate.
Firebrand?
Yeah.
Is that what she is?
Well, this article's coming from Vox. So
oh, God.
You got to expect that. He was at the company at its infancy and helped set in motion many of the events that would ultimately make it so powerful. While he left Facebook in 2008 to work on Barack Obama's presidential campaign, his work is still a part of Facebook's DNA. It's been 15 years since I co-founded Facebook at Harvard, and I haven't worked at the company in a decade, but I feel a sense of anger and responsibility. His push goes beyond the pages of the Times. He also gave a long interview with NPR on Thursday morning. He knows that his calls to winnow Facebook are a big deal, and he wants to make sure that his voice is heard. So, in the Times op-ed, why didn't they just link to it and be done with it?
Yeah, I don't know.
We're being asked whether or not either of us owns an AR-15. Look, the only arm that I'm going to openly talk about is the one that I carry on my purse, and that's more of a defensive measure than anything else. I want to make sure everyone knows that I do indeed carry a loaded gun in my purse.
Without getting into specifics, yes, we both have access to firearms, but no, we're not going to tell you which ones or where they are.
No, certainly not. So in the Times op-ed, Hughes makes the case that Facebook has devised a number of ways to lock out competition, whether by acquiring potential rivals, copying them, or blocking them. You know, I saw a suggestion recently that wasn't really a terrible idea. If we don't like what Facebook is doing, let's go back to MySpace. It's still there.
God, even Tom abandoned MySpace.
Yeah, but it's still there, you know?
What's left of it after it crashed and deleted like 10 years of everything?
It deleted all of the music I had on MySpace, which was a significant problem because some of those songs were literally irreplaceable. There were videos from my live performances back when I was in an active rock band. All of those are gone now. I never thought about, downloading them to keep them safe or anything like that, because it's this multi-million-dollar web server that you don't expect to do stupid crap like that.
Yeah, you would not expect. I still don't know how they managed to screw up that badly.
No, that's pretty impressive. I mean, that seems to me like a corrupt hard drive with absolutely no backups being done whatsoever.
But the thing is, at that scale, you don't just have a corrupt hard drive. You have every bit of data is replicated to like 5 or 6 different locations around the planet, and you have to somehow destroy all of those at once.
The AR-15 is not the physical manifestation of liberty. The atom bomb is. And falling short of being able to own an atom bomb, I would suggest it's the AK-47. That's the physical manifestation of liberty. It's more reliable, and it's significantly better than an AR-15. Might be less accurate. I'm not 100% sure.
It's cheap and reliable.
But it is cheap and reliable. It's Russian. It's the Russian gun. I mean,
it's Russian. It's even the cheap Chinese knockoffs are reliable. I mean, it's that good.
And I mean, that's the issue with American assault rifles, is that they are a lot of fiberglass and plastic and things like that. And they learned this during Operation Desert Storm and in the Iraqi invasion, that our guns are not actually very reliable when there's sand and smoke and ash and things like that. They tend to jam very easily. Have you ever tried to jam an AK-47? Don't answer that.
You can't. Maybe you could, but it's very difficult. I mean, sand, mud, whatever, it doesn't care.
No,
it keeps on going.
It's gonna shoot. It might have some problems, but it is gonna shoot. So anyway, back to Facebook. So Hugh has called the Federal Trade Commission's approval of Facebook's acquisition of Instagram and WhatsApp its biggest mistake and argues Facebook should immediately be forced to spin them off into two separate independent entities. Yeah, I don't see that happening. Look, and I don't even see it as a monopoly. These three things are totally different, and they do totally different things. Now, if Facebook acquired Twitter and Mastodon, then we could start talking, okay, and hell, even MySpace. Then we could start talking about Facebook attempting to create a monopoly in the social media world. But owning a few of them, I think, isn't that big a deal. I don't even know anyone who uses Instagram. It's Snapchat that people use. I'm sure people use Instagram, but I don't know why they would when they're Snapchat, which, for my money, is better. I've never used WhatsApp. I never intended to use WhatsApp, and I'm not going to.
Yeah, not now that Facebook owns it.
Yeah, so Facebook's acquisition of that is not a problem. Now, if they bought Telegram, I would have a problem.
Yeah, then we'd have a real big problem.
If they bought Telegram and Signal, then it would just be, okay, I'm done. I need a blockchain-based communication software like CryptVisor, which is exactly that. It is a cryptocurrency-based, not cryptocurrency-based. I think there may, in fact, be a cryptocurrency in relation to it, but it's a blockchain-based communication software that allows your messages to be stored only on your device and only on the recipient's device. And the only way they can access, I don't know the details of how it works. I'm not going to pretend to, but it's a really cool thing. Not as easy to use and not as effective as getting into as like Telegram or Signal, though. But we're going to talk more about Facebook, so don't go anywhere. This is The Call to Freedom.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISSparis.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,283. Silver at $14.76, and Bitcoin is trading around $6,043. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a 69-year-old North Carolina woman visiting Disney World was arrested after an Orange County deputy discovered CBD oil in her purse.
I have really bad arthritis in my legs and my arms and in my shoulder. I use it for the pain because it helps.
The anti-media reports the great-grandmother, Hester Jordan Burkhalter, told Fox 35 she had been using CBD oil on a recommendation from her doctor. She was even prepared with a note from her doctor in case of such a situation. But despite the note, Burkhalter, who has no criminal past, spent 12 hours behind bars before eventually being released on a $2,000 bond. The charges against Burkhalter were dropped. CBD oil is extracted from cannabis plants and has been shown to aid users in the treatment of anxiety, arthritis, pain, depression, and more. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. As the Federal Trade Commission prepares to slap Facebook with a $5 billion fine, expected to be the biggest fine the agency has ever levied and the largest incurred in Facebook's history, one of the company's co-founders has published an op-ed in the New York Times calling on the government to intervene and break up Facebook. The anti-media reports that in the op-ed, Chris Hughes, Mark Zuckerberg's Harvard roommate and Facebook's first spokesman, emphasized that he believes Zuckerberg is a kind and well-intentioned person, but that Facebook has become too powerful in terms of its market dominance and its influence on public life, and that the only reasonable solution would be for the government to step in. As it stands, the market is not well equipped to punish Facebook for its misdeeds. Hughes recounted how, during Facebook's early days, Zuckerberg would describe his goals for Facebook as domination. 15 years later, the company has succeeded. Body camera video from inside the Louisville Metro Corrections Center in Kentucky shows that officers can and will beat an entirely compliant, submissive person, even when that person is handcuffed. However, the video was so disturbing, it prompted a good cop to report and release it, and 2 bad cops have been indicted for their brutal actions. The Free Thought Project reports that on Wednesday, a federal grand jury indicted former officers David Schwartz and Donna Gentry for their role in the beating of then 19-year-old Terry Whitehead. A grand jury found Schwartz assaulted Whitehead and deprived him of his rights. It also found Schwartz lied about the assault and tried to cover up his actions. According to a recent lawsuit filed by Whitehead, the incident happened April 15, 2018. Whitehead was attempting to explain to officers why he had put toilet paper in his cell to block his window. According to the lawsuit and the indictment, the officers handcuffed him, hit him, then moved him to a different area and continued to beat the handcuffed man out of view of the camera. The lawsuit states that Whitehead blacked out during the beating and was left with multiple contusions and swelling as a result. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
This is the Onion Week in Review. In light of reports this week of a Russian crime ring stealing 1.2 billion username and password combinations from internet users, experts from top security firms across the country reportedly advised Americans to refrain from clicking on anything at all. The nation's top security specialists warned individuals to actively avoid any scrolling or swiping on the internet, and further urged Americans, as an added precaution, to steer clear of buttons, keyboards, and computer screens altogether. In other news, an employer botches a job interview. A date's flaws are coming at a woman faster than she can rationalize them, and a going out of business sign thanks a neighborhood for 3 months of no support whatsoever. Whether or not this video news summary eased the pain of your existence, you can now take solace in the fact that you're a few minutes closer to departing this meaningless world. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Welcome back. This is The Call to Freedom. As always, I am your host, Arya DeMezzo, author of Dancing in Hellfire, which you can find on Amazon at, I don't think it actually has a specific URL that I can easily just search for it. That's Dancing in Hellfire. As always, I'm joined in the studio by
Michael Hampton from cryptotip.org.
And we're going to move on from Facebook because there's not much more to get. Actually, there is significantly more, so I guess we need to continue into it. Facebook is quickly working, evidently, to integrate WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook together, which would make it harder for the FTC to split them up. Facebook this year said it was moving toward integrating its messaging services, like they just freaking said in the article. Why do they do this? Why do they state a thing and then state the thing again? Because this is not uncommon. And it requires us to filter out this crap when we read these articles on the air and discuss them because they don't know how to write.
Yeah, well, it's Vox. What do you expect?
But it's not limited to just Vox. It's every article will do this. They will put someone's quote and then they will reword the quote to say exactly the same thing, except it's no longer a quote, which is the exact opposite of how human brains work. They are far more likely to read the quote than the summary of the quote.
Yeah, don't ask me. I dropped out of journalism school. So
I didn't go for journalism, which is interesting because I literally have written for newspapers and gaming review sites and was an editor for a news site, and here I am doing a daily radio show.
Well, the funny thing is, I majored in computer science with a journalism minor.
Interesting.
And dropped out.
Okay. Well, I graduated college, but I had initially majored in physics and progressed into general relativity and was like, I really don't want to devote 8 years, 10 years of my life, in fact, is what it would have turned out to be, to studying this thing just to end up being stuck teaching it at a university. So I switched to something more practical, the management of information systems, which only required, a bachelor's degree.
Right.
Which isn't as impressive of being able to say, well, I'm a doctor of general relativity, but I don't really care. I think the average person who interacts with me on a regular basis learns pretty quickly that I'm both knowledgeable and intelligent. I don't need a sheet of paper to confirm that. I'm certainly not qualified at this point to have a doctorate in physics. Most of that stuff has gone completely out of my head.
Yeah, all the doctorate says is that you know how to do research.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
what's
exactly.
The point?
So, for some reason, D-Live Chat is going on about Chatterbait and whether or not I'm on there. I'm not.
I'm not.
Someone is suggesting.
I've heard of it.
I haven't. I didn't even know it was a thing. That's a thing?
Yeah, it's a thing.
I'm on Grindr and Tinder, but I'm not on Chatterbait. That doesn't sound like something I would be into. Is it what it sounds like?
It's what it sounds like.
Okay, yeah, I'm not into that. Sorry. That is what Grindr and Tinder turn out to be more often than not.
I thought I read a post on Facebook this morning from you about the 100 messages you got yesterday.
Yeah. Well, most of those actually, probably most of them were. I didn't actually count, but yeah, a lot of them did come from Grindr. So it's kind of the penis pictures are expected. The person who sent me a literal picture of their
what came out of their penis?
Yes, let's go with that. Did not come via Grindr. That came via Twitter, not Twitter, Facebook.
Facebook. That was a little shocking.
It was. So I blocked the guy. I was like, that's bizarre. I understand, pictures of one's genitalia being sent to a girl that you want to have sex with. I think it's stupid and counterproductive.
It's stupid. It's counterproductive. It's going to make her block you.
But I understand it. Sending a picture of what has seriously come out of your penis and landed on what appears to be a desk, it is not.
No. You want a girl to have sex with you? What you need to take a picture of is you doing laundry, doing the dishes.
Maybe. I don't know. We all have different inclinations. I wouldn't find that to be particularly impressive because, I can't remember the last time I really needed to wash a dish.
Vacuuming.
The last time I actually had to wash a dish was when Thunderbuns cooked me dinner, and I had to wash that and take it back to him. Other than that, I just don't live in that particular world, I suppose.
Because you don't eat, and when you do eat, you eat out.
Yeah, true. So anyway, in the case of Snapchat, which Facebook reportedly tried to buy in 2013, Facebook launched Stories, which is a blatant copy of Snapchat's most popular and iconic feature, and which I've never used.
Yeah, Facebook's got this habit of when some company comes up doing something that they think is going to compete with them, Facebook either buys that company, re-implements their feature, or both. And yeah, I have tried Facebook Stories. It works a whole lot like Snapchat. And
well, I would imagine that it would. I just don't see the point of doing that versus just doing a post.
The thing about the Snapchats is that they disappear.
Right.
And the Facebook Stories, they also disappear after you view them.
Okay. So that's okay. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know that particular aspect of it, but still, I don't like the idea of my Facebook stuff being a one-time thing like that. If somebody wants to review something I've made, I want them to be able to review it.
Yeah, and lots of people do. But it's that there's some things that you maybe only want people to see once, and they only have 24 hours to do it. After
I use
24
Snapchat
hours
for that.
Yeah.
Or Grindr.
Snapchat or whatever.
But generally Snapchat, because it will notify you if someone downloads a picture or takes a screenshot even. Mm-hmm. So, those are really cool features. It's nice to know if I send someone a picture that they've taken a screenshot. I'm like, okay, I need to get away from this dude. So anyway, that's why Facebook added Stories. Interesting. I had never given it any thought. It was just something that appeared on Facebook one day and that I went to ignoring. So as a result of all of this, would-be competitors can't raise the money to take on Facebook. Investors realize that if a company gets traction, Facebook will copy its innovations, shut it down, or acquire it for a relatively modest sum. I don't see any of that as inherently a problem. If I come up with a really cool idea and start making a really awesome app and Facebook's like, hey, we want to buy this for $60 million,
I'm going to tell Facebook to stick their finger where it doesn't belong because that's a low ball.
I would take $60 million.
Start with $1 billion and then we'll talk.
Okay. Well, I would gladly take $60 million. Live the rest of my life in total luxury and happiness. Absolutely.
I don't know. I'm going to need a little more than $60 million.
Well, most people would, you would think that. But I imagine that after like the first $10 to $15 million, you kind of run out of crap to buy.
I've got a shopping list. The plane I want to buy costs $15 million.
Okay. Well, see, a plane isn't on my shopping list. There are a lot of guitars on my shopping list, but not any planes. But as markets become more concentrated, which is a problem of the federal government, the number of new startup businesses declines, which is also a result of government. So the problem here is not Facebook at all.
It's government.
It's government. And how they are propping up Facebook and allowing Facebook to do these things in the first place. It's these regulations that make startup difficult, that keep people from competing with Facebook.
There you have it.
So this holds true in other high-tech areas dominated by single companies, like search, controlled by Google, and e-commerce, taken over by Amazon. And I've heard, I don't know if it's true, but I've heard that the reason that Microsoft continues pouring money into Bing, despite how they're losing money with it, is because they don't want to submit completely to Google's monopoly over search. And I think that's a good thing. But there's also DuckDuckGo, which I would recommend. There's Start Page, which allows you to use Google without actually using Google. I would definitely recommend that.
I've used both of those. They work perfectly.
Well, DuckDuckGo, I don't care much for the search results. It's not as effective, I don't think. But this is the call to freedom. Don't go anywhere. For some reason, D-Live is talking about dark energy, so that may be something we need to get into. This is the call to freedom.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Free Talk Live, the show where anyone can call about whatever they want. And we do mean anyone.
Sunfest is on the line in California.
Yeah, the greatest danger is that they're destroying the sun and the earth.
Whoa. Slow down, Sunfest. Slow down. Who is destroying the sun?
The economy. Everything that's happening is a job hunt. It's a job tax.
What are you talking about?
Definitely. The sun is waning, the water is rising, and we need the sun to dry it. When you have an economy that's creating jobs on a war scale, 24 hours a day, the cosmos can't keep up with it, let alone the sun. There's Star and Andromeda, which is hurling at us. If you're not informed, you can go out and get the information.
That's our name tonight.
Stop your sexist attack on women, whereas you hear anything
You
that
are
the men
so
have to say.
outrageous. Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. And as always, you're invited to give us a call. That number is 603-283-6160. Again, that's 603-283-6160. Or you can use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm. Someone on Twitch has said that conservatives love babies and school shootings.
Say what?
Yeah, I don't think that's correct. I think that is a heavily tainted view of the situation.
Babies and school shootings.
They love forcing women to be their property, is how I would characterize the general conservative position on abortion. And I realize that upsets a lot of people, but I would also suggest that that upsets you is because you're used to being a male within a society that is largely historically
patriarchal,
and you're used to being able to tell women what they can and can't do. And this manifests in many ways. One of those is the abortion argument, which is quite literally a bunch of men sitting around to make up rules about what women can and can't do with their bodies once the man has bestowed the woman with his penis. That's my position on that. School shootings, of course, I believe the solution to that is for everyone to have a gun, students included. And we talked about that during the first hour. Well, thanks for tuning in, Crimson. Yeah, that's the solution here, is to stop sending kids into places where they are defenseless because a psychotic school shooter intentionally targets people who are defenseless and weak. And that is, in American society, a school. So stop making them defenseless and weak, and they will stop being targets. I fully agree with that. Everyone should have a nuclear bomb. Yeah, I will go that with you all the way to the end. Absolutely, because the government has them. And if the government has access to it,
then we need to have access to it.
We do, because the government will use it against us. History has shown time and time again that the government will use its military superiority to oppress and destroy their own people.
Yeah.
So
we're waiting patiently for it to happen here again.
Yeah, and it undoubtedly will. They've done it before.
The first time.
No. So anyway, we're getting back into Facebook. Hughes sees government as the remedy. I do not. I don't know why he does, but okay. Hughes leans heavily into the idea that the U.S. government should step in, not only with regulators upping antitrust enforcement, but also with Congress laying out new ground rules for the internet, privacy, and even speech. Hold on. The last thing, they're not allowed to lay out ground rules on speech. There's kind of a sheet of paper that says they're not allowed to.
The U.S. government is not supposedly allowed to tell you what you can and can't say.
They do, of course.
Oh, of course they do.
But they're not actually allowed to.
You know, the Constitution is just a piece of paper.
Yeah, Facebook is hardly a private company at this point, though. They are sanctioned and endorsed by the state. Good God, I watched a freaking video this morning. It was terrifying. It was the CEO of Google before the American Congress, and they were asking him horrifically stupid questions that demonstrated they had no understanding of this technology whatsoever.
Oh my, I think I know the video you're talking about.
And these are the people you're wanting to weigh in and to decide what the rules should be on this technology that they don't understand in the first place.
Congress making laws about technology they don't understand is how we got all these problems in the first place.
Yeah, Congress is good at understanding one thing and one thing only: how to exploit power over people. That's all they do. They're not experts in any particular industry, and bringing in particular experts to write the regulations and the rules is just a way of creating a monopoly. That's all you're doing at that point, because and we've seen it, these industries will come in and they will work directly with government, like the Federal Reserve Act, in order to give themselves unquestionable control over that industry. So that's not a good solution either. The good solution is the free market. If you don't like what Facebook is doing and it's a problem for you, stop using Facebook. Find someone else. I would suggest going back to MySpace. I really think so.
You really think so?
I really do.
Even though nothing's there still.
Yeah, well, I mean, nothing's on Mastodon either, and we regularly tell people to go to Mastodon. You'll find significant.
No, MySpace erased everything by accident. There's actually stuff on Mastodon.
MySpace,
if you know where to look.
MySpace's erasure didn't really affect very many people. It affected artists primarily, people who make music and stuff like that. The average person, I mean, they didn't lose their MySpace profile or anything like that. It just affected artist pages, basically, with their videos and their music being gone in their incompetence. So, and that's certainly not a good reason to rejoin MySpace, but I think it's a good alternative to Facebook. Zuckerberg himself has called for increased regulation. Remember what we were just talking about, letting this industry come in and write their own regulations? That's what Facebook wants to do.
Yeah.
They wrote in a recent Washington Post that it's time for government to update the rules for the internet. Hughes says he doesn't think Zuckerberg's regulation proposals have been made in bad faith, but he does see them as an attempt to head off the argument that regulations need to go further and break up the company. He argues that the FTC's proposed potential $3 billion to $5 billion fine over Facebook's handling of user data and privacy violations is not enough. What good is this fine going to do for the American people?
None.
Whose privacy was violated by Facebook.
Yeah, you're not getting any of that money.
No, you're certainly not going to. Is this how Andrew Yang is going to pay for his UBI? Make Facebook pay for it?
300 million, 3 billion. No, everybody'd only get $10.
Well, that's no good. That seems more likely to work than his current proposal.
You'd get $10, but then Facebook would be crippled. I mean, I personally, I think Andrew Yang should pay for it.
I would like that.
Now, and the last I heard is he actually wanted to up the number from $1,000 to $2,000 a month.
He wants to pay people $24,000 a year simply to exist.
Apparently so.
I don't think he understands how existence works.
Yeah, if you sent him a money request on Facebook for $1,000, you need to undo that and send him a request for $2,000.
Absolutely, because that's moronic. You know, it's an organism's responsibility to ensure its own survival. If it can't do that, then it has failed as an organism and it needs to die out. I realize that's a cold and harsh thing to say, but you can't value the human species and our long-term survival. You can't be a humanist or what's the word? And not ecologist. What's the word I'm looking for? An environmentalist. You can't be any of those things while you're totally okay with propping up organisms who are quite literally incapable of keeping themselves alive.
I think there are environmentalists who would be more than happy to see the human race die out.
Well, maybe. But I don't think so. They seem to want to maintain the status quo for the most part. And their ire with the whole thing is that we are changing that. And they want to cling to what is because they've lost all ability to imagine what could be. This is the Call to Freedom. Don't go anywhere. We're going to get more into Facebook.
Hey, I'm LRN.FM Program Director Ian Freeman. If you're listening to our free-to-air satellite feed in North or Central America, heads up. We've been on the Galaxy 19 satellite since 2010. But now our satellite provider is moving LRN.FM to a new channel on a different transponder. The current channel will stay on the air until the end of May to give you time to transition without any loss of service, so don't delay. I've posted the new channel details at sat.lrn.fm, but in case you're listening with no internet access, if you do a blind scan on your receiver, you should see the new channel at transponder 6, 11.8425 GHz, horizontal polarization, symbol rate 22,000, FEC 3/4. All that information is at sat.lrn.fm, as well as a link to our Patreon, where you can support our channels for just $2 a month. Visit sat.lrn.fm for more information about our international satellite channels, and thanks for listening to LRN.fm. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveItPurse.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. I'd like to invite you to check us out on Facebook. You can find us there by using at Call to Freedom. You can find us on Twitter by using at CTF_LRN.FM.
Really?
Something along those lines. I mean, we'll pop up before you actually complete that. It's just such a force of habit for me to add the FM to that.
Yeah, I know.
Because I say it dozens of times a day. So you can also find us on Mastodon on the Libidon server, which I absolutely never use, but I'm use there. Call to Freedom is there. You can find us there by using at the Call to Freedom, but of course we would prefer you to join the Discord server, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm, where all of the co-hosts of Call to Freedom are except Chris Wade, so that's not even correct. Well, me and Michael are in there, and we regularly chat with people. Please don't send me more DMs. I've got like 46 right now that are unread. I don't want any more.
Yeah, and if they're pictures of your junk, then
I tend to not get those on Discord.
We're just going to block you.
Yeah, we are just going to block you. I am not going to smoke in the studio. I can vape in the studio, but I don't really vape. I find it to be... It doesn't scratch the itch, you know? It's useful for when I'm sitting here doing the show, but my current vapor it needs a new coil, and I honestly can't be bothered to replace it because I don't like vaping anyway. So it's like, why would I want to spend $15 on this when I don't want to do it in the first place? For me, it's better. Besides which, vaping changes your voice while you're hitting it in an unusual way. So it's not like something I could do on the air anyway. I could only do it during breaks, and waiting an hour between cigarettes is not exactly a problem. No.
I never noticed that.
You haven't?
No.
It does for some reason. I don't know why, but just listen to someone talk and then listen to them talk while they're exhaling vapor. It's a totally different voice. It's almost like it's almost like a nasally kind of tone. So it's curious. But that's why I prefer not to vape. One of the reasons why I prefer not to vape, the biggest one is that it just doesn't scratch the itch. So we've been talking about Facebook and the Facebook co-founder coming out to say, well, I think the government needs to break up Facebook. I don't know that I agree. I don't think actually, I know that I don't agree. The government should not have anything whatsoever to do with this. Oh, good God. I hate people. I'm going to have to close the DLive chat. They're currently talking about my voice because they're ignorant of transsexualism. They don't know how any of this works. Vocal training is exceedingly difficult, right?
Right.
You have to consciously and constantly be aware of how you're speaking, the timbre of your voice, the resonance, and these 12 aspects of a voice that most people give absolutely no thought to whatsoever. And when you do it here on the radio, you sort of have to do it anyway. You can't just talk like you're having an ordinary conversation with someone. Most people don't actually seem to exhale very much when they're speaking. When you're vocal training, you're training yourself to do that. And it's a very difficult thing to do because you are literally retraining yourself to do something that you've been doing without any thought whatsoever since you were born. And on top of that, estrogen, despite what people think, does not change your voice at all. Testosterone will lower the pitch of your voice, but estrogen isn't going to increase it. So you're kind of stuck if you're a male to female trans person into either A, getting vocal surgery, which is pretty hit and miss, even now, is highly likely to make the situation worse. Or
let's not.
Or to go through vocal training and attempt to work through it slowly and painfully and arduously. I've been doing it for about a year, off and on, because I don't really just have the time to sit around the house and work on this for an hour and a half a day. I need to make the time to, I would say, but I'm a busy person. It's not my problem. I don't have a problem with it. I would prefer, obviously, a more feminine voice, but it is what it is. I would prefer lots of things, and it is what it is.
You've got what you've got, and that's what you've got.
I worked with, at my other job, I worked with a chick whose voice is deeper than mine, and she's just a cis chick. She no longer works there for totally unrelated reasons, but I mean, this is not a unusual thing. It just has a different resonance.
Right.
Her voice does. A different timbre, a different... I can't think of any... Because I haven't done the vocal training in about 6 months, I can't think of any of the aspects of the actual voice other than those 3 things. But I mean, it's like 12 things that you have to constantly be aware of as you speak to people. And if you don't understand how difficult that is, just give it a shot. Just try to remember 12 things about how you're speaking at any particular moment. It's almost impossible.
Good luck.
That's why the training is so extensive and takes a very long time. It is not going deep throat that is affecting me. So anyway, all of this idea, it may seem un-American. We would never stand for a government agency censoring speech. But we already have limits on yelling fire in a crowded theater. Do we? I don't think we do. I think the issue is that you are held responsible for the panic you create and any harm that comes about as a result of that.
Right.
I don't know that it's actually illegal to shout fire in a theater.
Well, they say it's not protected by the First Amendment.
Is it not?
That's what the Supreme Court apparently has said.
Why wouldn't it be?
Because of all the panic you cause.
And I agree. It's probably not a good thing to cause that panic, right? And I would suggest that the person who does it bears responsibility for the harm that comes about as a result of that.
Right.
But that, to me, is how you should solve that problem, right? is by punishing this person for what they actually caused rather than what they did to cause it. To me, what they did to cause it, whether they opened fire or whether they shouted the word fire, isn't really that significant. They caused a lot of people to be injured with their actions. To me, it's the injury that they should focus upon. But they think we should create similar standards that tech companies use, and these standards should, of course, be subject to the review of the courts, just as any other limits on speech are. Because, yeah, we totally have reason to believe that the government is reliable.
Yeah, right.
There is no constitutional right to harass others or live stream violence. Well, there kind of is. There is kind of a constitutional right to harass others, and I'm sorry to inform people of that. If they don't want to be harassed, then they can leave. But you do have the right to say to somebody anything. You do have the right to say anything you want to, whether it's interpreted as harassment or not. They don't have to sit there and listen to it, but you have the right to say it. So I would disagree. I would say you absolutely do have the constitutional right, for whatever that's worth. So some sheet of paper says you have the right. The government's not going to uphold it anyway, so it's not like it matters. But you also have the constitutional right, or the... I'm going to go even further than that because I don't think it's part of the Constitution. I would argue that you have the right to discriminate on the basis of private property rights. If you are an idiot and don't want to do business with an entire class of people because you don't approve of them for whatever reason, I think that's your choice to make. I don't think you have to justify that to anyone. I wouldn't approve of it. I think it's probably a really bad business decision, and I think ultimately...
It's stupid, self-defeating.
Yeah, I think ultimately it would cause the business to lose enough money that they wouldn't want to, continue that particular policy. Obviously, such a maneuver by the government could have big implications when it comes to free speech on the internet, platform responsibility for it, and the ongoing debate surrounding whether Facebook and others are platforms or publishers. So don't go anywhere. We're going to talk more about this Facebook story and what the U.S. government may do. This is the Call to Freedom.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless free market non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM, broadcast as always from the Liberty Studio here in Keene, New Hampshire. I'd like to take a moment to remind you that our podcasts are being uploaded to podbean.com. You can find them at calltofreedomlive.podbean.com. You can also find them on Spotify, Google Play Music, the iTunes Store, Radio Public, and a number of other places.
One place you will not find them anymore is Spreaker.
Right. Well, I don't. I've sort of dropped that. Now I just use this particular bed to promote the podcast in general because a lot of people don't like the commercials.
And the podcasts are commercial free.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. I'm not a fan of commercials either. I prefer being able to skip them when the opportunity is there. So you'll be happy to know that our podcasts do not have them. And we, of course, upload the previous day's podcast just before the show starts. And again, that's calltofreedomlive.podbean.com.
Now, the downside of that is that if you listen to the podcast, you don't get the commercials, but you don't get to live chat with us.
Yeah, that's true. And people enjoy live chatting with us because we're the most interactive Twitch and DLive interactive show on LRN,
true.
Which I like. I like interacting with people. I think that's the whole point of this in the first place. You know, and Free Talk Live does the same thing. I mean, they're a call-in show. We're not, strictly speaking. But I mean, they are trying to interact with and engage with an audience. For us, I want to move. The internet is the future, obviously. Twitch and DLive and all of that. The live streaming, it's the future. Radio eventually is going to die out as a platform.
Probably, yeah.
And this is how we build that rapport, that relationship, that interaction with listeners or viewers, rather. Of course, we are still going out on terrestrial radio and things like that. Not yesterday. Good God. If you didn't hear yesterday's episode, you need to go check it out at calltofreedomlive.podbean.com. Skip like the first hour, really, because that was just me clarifying the previous night's episode of Arya Uncensored.
Which has been deleted.
Which has been deleted. It's permanently gone from everywhere except my archive of it, which is obviously not public. That was by design. I was not proud of what I had done in that particular episode, so I simply deleted it. So Hugh has been out of Facebook for a while and taken on a number of projects since, including working on the Obama campaign, buying and selling The New Republic. I'm not sure what that is. and serving as co-chair of the Economic Security Project, a network dedicated to fostering discussions about guaranteed income. It's UBI crap. Of course it is.
Yep.
He liquidated his Facebook shares in 2012, idiot, and says he no longer invests directly in any social media companies. Oh, well, he's not an idiot. His net worth is $430 million.
Yeah, you don't get to $430 million by being an idiot unless you won the lottery.
Yeah. Crimson on Twitch has said that the UBI is far from crap. No, it is as crap gets. It's completely stupid, and I can prove it. Almost mathematically. And the reason is because, first of all, there's the evolutionary aspect of it. There's the natural selection aspect of it. And me, being a Nietzschean, this is the aspect of it that I prefer to take, which is the simple fact that it is an organism's responsibility to ensure its own survival. You see this everywhere without the universe. We can't say that it's not true because we quite clearly see it. Competition works. Those things that do not succeed within the competitive arena die out.
That's true.
The UBI is quite literally a way of keeping those people that evolution would like to see gotten rid of for the long-term benefit of the human species alive.
Is it people who would have died naturally, or is it people that the government is keeping down with other policies?
Well, I don't think the government is even relevant to the discussion. I think it's more about compassion and the nihilistic qualities of compassion and pity. I agree that, we should take pity on people. We should care about other people, but not to the extent where we're willing to subsidize their meager existences. If they're not capable of doing that, and they're not like disabled or something like that, because that's a completely different beast. I'm not saying you need to let the disabled die. I'm absolutely not saying that. I fully support donating money to them. It's the healthy people that I am against this with, because I think that's where compassion crosses the line from being a good idea to being outright nihilistic. Imagine the gazelle seeing another smaller, weaker gazelle being attacked by a lion, putting itself into that situation and saying, don't worry, I will intercede and keep you alive. That just causes 2 dead gazelles in the long run. And that's generally the issue playing out with the UBI, with social welfare programs and things like that, is that we are quite literally keeping alive people that evolution and natural selection are trying to kill. And I know how heartless that is to say, but it's true. As
that's a tough one.
It is a tough one. But I mean, this, and we know this to be true. I mean, we know it to be true. That's why we need these programs in the first place, is because without those programs, these people are going to die. At least that's the contention, right?
That's what they say. I mean, I don't see a whole lot of people dying from lack of a UBI, though.
No, certainly not. Well, maybe. Because it all stems from this anti-technological hysteria that we're all going to be replaced by robots and nobody's going to have any jobs, and we're going to need a UBI just for people to continue to have any sort of money whatsoever. That's crap.
Where would the money come from then? If the robots are doing all the work, why does anyone need to work?
Well, there would certainly be no wealth representing the money that was coming to people, so it would just be inflationary at that point. It would just be printed. And that obviously creates its own problem. You're absolutely right on that aspect, but...
Yeah, let me give you 1,000 Venezuelan bolivars and see how far that takes you.
Yeah, the whole thing is ridiculous, though, because... and I lost my train of thought when you mentioned that about the bolivar. What was I saying?
Oh, I lost your train of thought, too.
It was about the UBI, obviously, and... the technological aspect of it, right. And this belief that we're all going to be replaced by robots. I mean, you realize people said exactly that same crap during the Industrial Revolution. People said, oh, everybody's going to be without a job. Society as a whole isn't going to be able to survive this.
What's going to happen to the weavers and the seamstresses and the farriers?
And what we found was that the Industrial Revolution, quite from making a huge class of people who lived in poverty, uplifted the society out of poverty. in large degrees. We were able to stop sending kids to work in glass factories where they were maimed at 4 years old, all because of the Industrial Revolution. It is not well documented. It's fear-mongering put forward by the same people who argued, by the same mentality, the same conservative mentality, in fact, of wanting to maintain the status quo and keep things as they are, rather than allowing them to progress and evolve naturally.
Or as I like to call them, the regressives.
Well, yeah, except they're not actually regressive, I don't think. They are just conservatives. They are literally trying to conserve the current way of life. They are also trying, and you can see this everywhere with them and their environmentalism and how, oh no, we're destroying the great reefs of Australia. Okay, fair enough. But you know what? What natural, beautiful wonders are going to exist in 1,000 years because of quote unquote anthropomorphic climate change?
True.
I don't care about the great reefs because I know enough about nature and ecology to know that there will be some other wondrous thing 1,000 years from now that people are marveling at. I don't care if it's the Great Reef of California, the Great Reef of Arizona Bay. None of that matters to me. I'm not so attached to this particular slice of time, this particular moment in human existence and the way things are, that I want to completely derail all of society and all of economics in order to maintain it. To me, I'm like, let it go. Let it evolve. Let's see what happens.
No, all progress must be stopped here. That's what progressivism is about.
No, but that's literally not progressivism. That's conservatism.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is they're conservatives. They call themselves progressives, but I don't care. I'm a progressive. I'm like, let's let things progress and see how it goes. That's progressivism. Conservatism is literally trying to conserve what is. And that's exactly what they're doing.
Bingo.
And I'm against conservatism. I'm against stagnation. And I think that in the long run, stagnation is nihilistic and destructive of a species or an economy. I don't think it's possible, no matter how much we put into it, to maintain this way of life. I think change is coming, and I think it's going to be interesting, and I'm excited to see it. Sure, maybe lots of people will die. Maybe I'll be one of them. But whatever happens next, it's going to be an interesting ride. Don't go anywhere. This is the Call to Freedom.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,283, silver at $14.76, and Bitcoin is trading around $6,043. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a 69-year-old North Carolina woman visiting Disney World was arrested after an Orange County deputy discovered CBD oil in her purse.
I have really bad arthritis in my legs and my arms and in my shoulder. I use it for the pain because it helps.
The anti-media reports the great-grandmother, Hester Jordan Burkhalter, told Fox 35 she had been using CBD oil on a recommendation from her doctor. She was even prepared with a note from her doctor in case of such a situation. But despite the note, Burkhalter, who has no criminal past, spent 12 hours behind bars before eventually being released on a $2,000 bond. The charges against Burkhalter were dropped. CBD oil is extracted from cannabis plants and has been shown to aid users in the treatment of anxiety, arthritis, pain, depression, and more. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. As the Federal Trade Commission prepares to slap Facebook with a $5 billion fine, expected to be the biggest fine the agency has ever levied and the largest incurred in Facebook's history, one of the company's co-founders has published an op-ed in the New York Times calling on the government to intervene and break up Facebook. The anti-media reports that in the op-ed, Chris Hughes, Mark Zuckerberg's Harvard roommate and Facebook's first spokesman, emphasized that he believes Zuckerberg is a kind and well-intentioned person, but that Facebook has become too powerful in terms of its market dominance and its influence on public life, and that the only reasonable solution would be for the government to step in. As it stands, the market is not well equipped to punish Facebook for its misdeeds. Hughes recounted how, during Facebook's early days, Zuckerberg would describe his goals for Facebook as domination. 15 years later, the company has succeeded. Body camera video from inside the Louisville Metro Correction Center in Kentucky shows that officers can and will beat an entirely compliant, submissive person, even when that person is handcuffed. However, the video was so disturbing, it prompted a good cop to report and release it, and 2 bad cops have been indicted for their brutal actions. The Free Thought Project reports that on Wednesday, a federal grand jury indicted former officers David Schwartz and Donna Gentry for their role in the beating of then 19-year-old Terry Whitehead. A grand jury found Schwartz assaulted Whitehead and deprived him of his rights. It also found Schwartz lied about the assault and tried to cover up his actions. According to a recent lawsuit filed by Whitehead, the incident happened April 15, 2018. Whitehead was attempting to explain to officers why he had put toilet paper in his cell to block his window. According to the lawsuit and the indictment, the officers handcuffed him, hit him, then moved him to a different area and continued to beat the handcuffed man out of view of the camera. The lawsuit states that Whitehead blacked out during the beating and was left with multiple contusions and swelling as a result. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Could dropping bombs on Afghans without warning from terrifying robot airplanes that fly themselves actually hurt America's efforts to stabilize Afghanistan?
It's complicated. No, not at all. Actually, I think we need to stay the course. You don't change horses midstream, and you don't stop firing missiles from unseen death droids soaring high above the clouds just because a couple of schools get blown up.
We have got to find another way to obliterate this population.
What about flaming bulldozers or 50-foot-tall tanks?
Let's do what we can for these civilians. I mean, why not name the drones Billy or Steve to make them seem less dispassionate?
Oh, that is a terrible idea. Billy is a horrible name for a drone.
They're now developing a 40-foot robot that actually looks more like an American soldier and also sprays lasers out of his eyes.
Well, at least that's a step forward.
Look, as long as it fires missiles and bombs with very little accuracy and 0 Americans are at threat, I'm all for it.
Good point.
They should give it funny, floppy arms.
Yes.
Oh, it should spray candy out of its chest a few minutes before it starts shooting everything.
This is the Onion News Network.
Welcome back. This is The Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. As always, I am your host, Arya DeMezzo of presumably Arya Uncensored. I'm probably not going to continue the show for the time being. Let's say it's on hiatus. But generally, you can listen to it on Twitch ND Live only, live on Tuesday nights at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as always, I'm joined in the studio by
Michael Hampton from BitcoinHistory.com.
And in other news, we're going to move on from Facebook. In other news, the United States government is now charging a former intelligence analyst with leaking classified data to a reporter. Obviously, they are not charging the reporter.
No, of course not.
Hint, hint, government in relation to
Julian Assange.
Yeah. So apparently a lot of top secret and secret stuff was released by this person. Getting into the story here. From NPR, federal agents have arrested a former intelligence analyst and charged him with giving classified information to a reporter. The Justice Department says Daniel Everett Hill of Nashville, Tennessee, used his top secret computer to print out dozens of documents related to counterterrorism operations while working as a contractor for the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, or NGA. I've never even heard of that.
If you've never heard of them, this is the agency that runs the spy satellites.
Okay.
It used to be called the NRO, I think.
The instances in question occurred nearly 5 years ago, according to an indictment unsealed Thursday. Hill first met the reporter in question in April 2013 when he was still in the U.S. Air Force and worked for the NSA, according to court documents. He began sharing information the next year when he left the military and was working for defense contractor Leidos at the NGA. The Justice Department said in a statement that Hill met with the reporter on multiple occasions and at times communicated with the reporter via an encrypted messaging platform.
Which they didn't name?
Probably Telegram. That would be my immediate guess. If not Telegram, then certainly Signal. Starting in February 2014, according to the department, Hill printed 6 classified documents that were later published by the reporter's news outlet. I want to know where this information is. That's what I want. And they are very tight-lipped
NPR
with
didn't
links.
Okay, so I posted a different version of this story from Reason in the Telegram chat. So you might find that one better because they actually say what the information was and where it was published.
Perfect. Well, definitely let's pull that up then, because Reason is certainly a better source of information than, NPR. So coming to us from Reason rather than NPR. So this guy helped reveal how U.S. drone strikes were killing innocent people. So the feds have charged him with espionage.
Of course.
Yeah. So he's been arrested and charged with espionage for leaking information to the press, detailing how the U.S. government uses armed drones for secret assassination missions in foreign countries. This is not news. However,
it's not news now. What's news is they caught the guy.
Yeah. I mean, but
because he successfully leaked the documents and they got published.
Yeah, but that's not my point. My point is that the government using armed drones for secret assassination missions is something that we knew about. even back during the Obama administration.
Oh yeah. It's not new that they did it during Obama.
I mean, we had a kill list and everything. But he leaked this information. He threw away his life, and now he's going to be charged with espionage because he released information that we already knew. Daniel Hell of Nashville was arrested this morning. Okay, they're just going to repeat that. The 2013 to 2014 time frame during which this leaking allegedly happened suggests that Hell may have played a role in the drone papers published by The Intercept. The series documented the secret use of drones to kill human targets, both in countries in which we're engaged in authorized military action and countries where we are not, like Yemen and Somalia. Yeah, none of which should we actually be involved in. The person who leaked these documents to The Intercept revealed that the government classified anybody killed by U.S. drone strikes, even if they weren't the target, as militants. And that's how they were able to insist that civilians weren't being killed in significant numbers.
So the U.S. government was lying about not killing innocent people. This guy leaked the documents that proved it, and now they want to send him to prison.
Yeah, well, and Crimson has said civilian casualties are the problem. No, casualties are the problem. We shouldn't be killing people in other countries. I don't really care whether or not they are armed militants fighting against their government, fighting against foreign occupation, or just fighting each other. That's not my business.
Or just randos at a coffee shop, which is how they killed what's his name.
Yeah, I mean, we're bombing Doctors Without Border hospitals, we're bombing weddings, we're bombing all kinds of things, and we're saying, oh no, they're militants, so they don't count. To me, it's a problem just killing people.
Yeah, who are just happen to be in the same neighborhood as a so-called militant, maybe.
And I don't think we should be killing the militants. The Intercept stories were not news to the Yemenis, Somalians, and Afghanis who had been affected by U.S. drone strikes on civilians. Meanwhile, Americans go, these people hate us for our freedom. No, it's the bombs you keep dropping on innocent people. That's why they hate you. And yes, we've been doing that for a very long time, since long before September 11th. These people already knew that they and their loved ones are not terrorists. Hell, like Edward Snowden and Reality Winner, is being accused of espionage for the crime of informing the American people about their government's actions. The drone papers were compiled and included in a book, The Assassination Complex. I reviewed the book, blah, blah, blah. Oh, he's going to promote himself. Look at that. With the help of confidential documents, blah, 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 Hill is charged with 5 separate crimes: obtaining national defense information, retention and transmission of national defense information, causing the communication of said information, disclosure of classified communications, and theft of government property. The maximum penalty for each crime is 10 years, but he likely won't do a stint that long. Instead, he'll face incredible pressure to plead guilty and receive a shorter but still harsh sentence, just as Reality Winner did.
Yep. Oh, that paragraph you skipped was kind of interesting. They had some hard numbers in there.
Okay, cool. So the book is able to offer some hard numbers, it would seem. In a year-long operation in northeastern Afghanistan, the United States killed more than 200 people. Only 35 were intended targets. The source who leaked the documents explained, anyone caught within the vicinity is guilty by association. But there is no guarantee that these people deserve their fate, so it's a phenomenal gamble.
Yeah, you could be dead because you were at the wrong restaurant at the wrong time.
Yep. So Bessie Reed, editor-in-chief of The Intercept, released a statement declining to comment on whether Hill was the source of information. Following in the dangerous path of the Obama administration, the Trump administration is continuing to use the Espionage Act to prosecute whistleblowers who enabled journalists to uncover disgraceful, immoral, and unconstitutional acts committed in secret by the American government. At The Intercept, we stand firmly opposed to all such prosecutions.
I think I can safely say that we at the Call to Freedom also stand opposed to such prosecutions.
Absolutely. Well, we stand more generally opposed to the state. So anything it does, we oppose, including prosecuting people who have told us what the state is up to, like murdering innocent people. That's a terrible ratio. That's slightly better than 1 in 8. 1 in
35 out of 200? I mean...
Yeah. That's a terrible percentage. If you murdered 165 innocent people in order to kill 35 intended targets who didn't deserve to die in the first place because they didn't do anything to the United States. They're just over there in their country, and they happen to be armed and fighting against military invaders.
There you go.
Which I don't particularly, see a problem with. If we don't want to get shot at by them, let's stop invading them. That, to me, seems like the proper way to go about handling this.
Yeah, but they've got oil we want.
They do, and that's what it ultimately comes down to, is the oil, I think. And speaking of the Bilderberg report that I read from 1980, that was one of the main concerns within that report. Constant conversation about oil, more so than the Soviet Union. Wow. That's what it's all ultimately about. Don't go anywhere. This is the Call to Freedom.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Hey, I'm LRN.FM Program Director Ian Freeman. If you're listening to our free-to-air satellite feed in North or Central America, heads up! We've been on the Galaxy 19 satellite since 2010, but now our satellite provider is moving LRN.FM to a new channel on a different transponder. The current channel will stay on the air until the end of May to give you time to transition without any loss of service, so don't delay. I've posted the new channel details at sat.lrn.fm, but in case you're listening with no internet access, if you do a blind scan on your receiver, you should see the new channel at transponder 6, 11.8425 GHz, horizontal polarization, symbol rate 22,000, FEC 3/4. All that information is at sat.lrn.fm, as well as a link to our Patreon, where you can support our channels for just $2 a month. Visit sat.lrn.fm for more information about our international satellite channels, and thanks for listening to LRN.FM.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. Of course, you're invited to give us a call. That number is 603-283-6160. Again, that's 603-283-6160. Or you can use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm. Now, interesting news. Not really something complicated or anything like that. It's just interesting. Mitch McConnell wants to raise money off the nickname Cocaine Mitch.
What?
Apparently, okay, back up. Okay. The faceless figure on the bright red t-shirt wears a Western shirt, open at the collar, and his dark hair is swept to the side. I don't know who they're talking about. They don't include a picture, so whatever. I mean, the only picture they have here is of Mitch McConnell, and he looks like
dressed like a cowboy.
No, he looks like the same old turtle he always looks like. So I don't know who in the world they're referring to. Behind him, a dust of cocaine coronates the likeness of an apparent drug kingpin. The back of the shirt declares the wearer a cartel member. But the man on the shirt is no Pablo Escobar. It's Cocaine Mitch, a.k.a. Senator Mitch McConnell, whose status as the Senate Majority Leader makes him one of the most powerful politicians in the country. Okay, much lower in the article, they include a picture of the shirt. It doesn't look like Mitch McConnell. It looks like...
that just looks like kind of a silhouette.
No, it doesn't. It looks like one of the guys who ran in the 2016 campaign, whose name I'm not thinking. It wasn't Cruz. It wasn't Rubio. It was the other one. He has a haircut just like that.
Oh my!
That's who it looks like. Why can't I think of his name?
I can't place it either.
I can see his face, but I can't think of his name. That's who it looks like. I mean, it looks just like him. Why can't I think of his name? I guess it's not super important. Santorum. It looks like Rick Santorum. Looks just like him. So they lead this article with a description of a shirt that they don't actually provide a picture of until 4 paragraphs down. That's so ridiculous. How could an editor possibly have approved that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, the shirt is no attack ad. It's the newest, hottest selling item on McConnell's campaign website, where supporters can buy one for $35. Look, if you want to buy a $35 shirt, don't buy that one. The senator's campaign celebrated the shirt's virality on Wednesday by tweeting a GIF that showed stacks of money being counted. They were moving a lot of product. Well, yeah, I'm not surprised. We have a store here in Keene known as pho. That's the Korean word for soup. Keene, great. So when you say that out loud pretty quickly, it obviously sounds like a thing that we would have said yesterday, but we won't say today. And when the city of Keene was like, no, you have to change this name, it went viral very quickly, and a lot of T-shirts got sold all over the world.
Yep.
And a few people made a lot of money because of it.
I've got the T-shirt.
Yep, as do I. I never wear it. I just bought it to support, the name.
And they opened the restaurant, and it's good food. So
I don't know. I haven't eaten there yet. McConnell and his campaign's embrace of the nickname is an attempted reclamation of a moniker once deployed against them. Roughly a year ago, GOP Senate candidate from West Virginia, Don Blankenship, aired a campaign advertisement that referred to McConnell without any context as Cocaine Mitch. It was an apparent nod to a years-old allegation that the family of McConnell's wife has a shipping background connected to drug dealers. Well, they work for the government, so they definitely have connections to drug dealers.
I don't know what that's all about.
The Washington Post's fact-checker has debunked this claim and awarded it 4 Pinocchios, meaning Blankenship had absolutely no evidence to support his peculiar assertion. Doesn't matter, it sounds like it was pretty effective, although only to a degree because he clearly didn't win. But in the months since that ad aired and Blankenship lost his primary race, McConnell and his campaign have repeatedly adopted the name. It's a sign of the senator's good humor, his willingness to take a joke, said Josh Holmes.
So wait, was Mitch McConnell not actually a cocaine dealer then?
I don't know if he was or not. I mean, yeah, certainly, because he's part of the government, and the government, smuggles CIA cocaine
there's that,
from
but
Colombia.
I mean, he wasn't involved personally in it.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know the underpinnings of to what extent, the senators are actually involved in that sort of thing. So some policy experts have criticized McConnell and his campaign for selling products that reference, and they say, make light of drug issues. Oh, the poor babies. Legalize cocaine. That's my position.
Yep. I'll sign on to that one.
Legalize heroin while we're at it. Let's legalize methamphetamine. Denver recently, yesterday, in fact, quote unquote, decriminalized psilocybin cubensis. That, of course, is magic mushrooms.
Yeah.
But the decriminalization measure is extremely weak. It's totally toothless. And it's because it doesn't actually decriminalize it. It just makes it the lowest priority for law enforcement.
Yeah, it's not much of a decrim there.
No, so the punishment for possessing magic mushrooms, if they prosecute you for it, is the same as it was prior to the passage of the measure.
Yeah,
so nothing has really changed, I don't think, except the police are, quote unquote, supposed to treat it as the lowest priority. And I don't really trust police to make those sort of judgment calls.
I don't trust police, period.
No. I certainly don't think they should be able to go, okay, well, this crime is being committed and it's a higher priority than this crime over here. Obviously, they're going to do that because they're going to respond to a murder that's happening faster than they are to someone selling weed on the streets.
Hopefully.
Ideally, I mean, obviously, the police shouldn't exist, right? That they are a group of thugs, extortionists, assaulting kidnappers. They're road pirates. That's all they do. They're predators. And I find it interesting that you seem to be most in danger of getting assaulted by these predators at night.
Hey, that's a good point.
It is a good point, I think. Like, I work late, usually until about 2 to 3, sometimes 3:30 or 4 in the morning. So I drive home, and there's no one out except me and these predators. So if I see a car, there's almost a 90% chance that it's a predator. And they do, because they're not a fan of me, they do know who I am. And more often than not, they just leave me alone because I'm way more trouble than they're prepared to deal with. Mm-hmm. It's just going to be a nonstop headache for them, and they know that. But the state troopers didn't get that particular memo.
Oops.
So they specifically seem to track me and keep track of where I am in an effort to eventually pull me over and get me for something.
Sounds like they've got it out for you.
And it's going to happen. And I'm really kind of looking forward to it. But yeah, legalize all the stuff. Absolutely. And get rid of the police. This is the call to freedom. Don't go anywhere.
Inclement weather prevents a liar from getting to work, and a lunchbox is mostly medication. Sources across the nation impatiently reported today that the 24-hour news cycle seemed to be taking forever, telling reporters that the continuous coverage from MSNBC, CNN, and other news sources was simply not continuous enough. Frustrated Americans demanded more panel coverage, around-the-clock bulletins, and breaking reactions from Twitter.
It's like, sure, I have 5 channels of unending news updates constantly flooding my screen, but each one of those only has one slow-moving news ticker. Why not 3 or 4 running at triple speed? Honestly, These networks need to understand that I can't just wait around all day for minute-by-minute coverage.
And in this week's science news, a new report finds that lake ice grows safer to venture out on with each beer consumed. In other news, the beauty industry announces a new initiative to make women self-conscious about their palms. A beautiful cinnamon bun is too good for this world, too pure. And a picky eater is 38.
This is the Onion News Network.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Tent approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. And moving on from the story of Cocaine Mitch, India, in interesting news. I don't know to what extent we might actually, there's a weird screenshot of me here. And I don't know what that is.
What are those?
Cocaine, it looks like.
Yeah, maybe?
No, it's not. No, meth, maybe? Somebody
cupcakes.
Sorry, it totally caught my train of attention because I was looking and I was like, oh wait, that's me in the picture. So someone has taken a picture of me and put what appears to be some sort of pipe. I don't know what kind of drug you do with that pipe because my experience with hardcore drugs like cocaine and methamphetamine is extremely limited. I've been around people who did them, but I've never done them, so I don't know what this is supposed to be. I assume that's crystal meth, and I guess it's a joke on me talking about legalizing meth.
I don't know. Maybe.
Obviously, I think meth should be legalized. I don't know what the point of that is. I would like to like the image, but there doesn't seem to be a message behind it.
That's a crack pipe.
It is a crack pipe, and those aren't crack rocks.
They're crack rocks.
They're too white to be crack rocks.
Well, they're pretty good crack, I guess.
I guess so. So for some reason, someone has made that. Okay, Ripple says it's whatever. Very peculiar. Carbon has joined the Discord lines. You can find those at discord.lrn.fm. He has just joined the server, however. So you're going to have to sit tight. I will get to that when I get to it. Getting back to the story, though, because I find it interesting. India has ruled that sex with a child bride is always rape.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a landmark change to India's marital rape laws. India's top court has ruled that sex with a child is always rape. Why did they have to rule that?
Yeah, this is not...
Crap. It squashes a clause that allowed men to have sex with underage girls if they were married to them. The Supreme Court's landmark decision on Wednesday closed a legal loophole that has historically allowed perpetrators of rape to escape punishment. While the age of consent in India is 18, there was a clause in India's rape laws that lowered the age of consent to 15 if the girl was married. It's still 15 is old enough to decide whether or not they want to consent to something.
Yeah, that's old enough.
I'm not advocating for 30-year-olds having sex with 15-year-olds or anything like that. I want to be clear on that. I generally don't care what people do.
I don't think any of us are.
But I would certainly say that a 15-year-old does not qualify as a child. And they seem to know this because they include a picture further down in the article that is most unequivocally not of a 15-year-old. In fact, it's a 10-year-old. So
yeah, what kind of bait and switch are you trying to pull here?
They are pulling a pretty serious one, as far as I'm concerned, trying to paint this as a child rape thing and all of that, when I really think it's just more of a reinforcing of this bad idea that a person's maturity level is determined by their number of days since they were born. To me, that's ridiculous. It's experience that determines maturity, not the number of times the sun has been orbited by the Earth.
Yeah, that's how it works.
So anyway, the court has now ruled that the clause is discriminatory, capricious, and arbitrary, and violates the bodily integrity of the girl child. I have to characterize 16, 17-year-olds not as children.
Yeah, they're assuming that you aren't able to make your own decision until you're 18.
Yeah, so you just magically become able to make your own decisions on the day you turn 18.
Based on some arbitrary date, not based on your actual ability.
Absolutely. That's totally ridiculous. Girls under 18 will now be able to report their husbands for rape as long as they lodge a complaint within a year of it happening. I mean, that's good. If someone rapes you, you should be able to do something about it.
It's good. The thing where they're going to regret all this happening is that, and maybe this already happens in India, but just teenagers getting it on with each other.
Yeah, that can get you in trouble here in the United States. 2 16-year-olds having sex with each other will get themselves in trouble. As I understand it, a child who, and not a child, there I go, a 16-year-old who takes a picture of themselves naked is in possession of child pornography and has been charged for possession of child pornography.
And thrown in prison.
And that's so absurd. I don't even know. And that's where these kind of laws lead. And I'm not saying the age of consent should be lowered or anything like that. In fact, I'm saying we should treat people as individuals. Many people, I would argue, are not capable of making decisions like this at the age of 18.
True.
Many are. Yeah, some people are. Some people are able to do it quite younger. I was probably, I had a really messed up life full with all kinds of experiences that, matured me, obviously. So I would say that I would have been capable of making decisions about consent as young as 13 years old. And that decision would have been no, certainly, but it would have been an actual decision.
Right.
The idea here is that a person cannot make those sort of decisions for themselves. And I think that's absolutely appalling. I think it's ageist. And it's not because I want to have sex with little girls or anything like that, or little boys or whatever people are going to say about this. It's because I think that an individual should be treated as an individual and shouldn't be discriminated against by the state as a matter of institutionalism because of their age. That's ultimately what it all comes down to. If you're going to have a minimum age of consent, then you have to have a maximum age of consent. You vile hypocrites. If you're going to have a minimum age in order to run for a political office, you have to have a maximum age. Otherwise, you're just being an ageist. You're just discriminating on the basis of age. Literally. And you're institutionalizing that and making it the law of the land. You are making discrimination the law of the land. That's a problem. I don't know why they think it isn't. If you were to make racial-based discrimination the law of the land, obviously you would have people up in arms. So why is it okay to do it on the basis of of age? It's absolutely absurd. It's saying that, all 17-year-olds are equal, and they're equal in their immaturity. All 16-year-olds are equal in their immaturity. It's absolutely absurd to make these sort of biased estimations of people for totally emotional reasons, right? That's why they included the picture of the 10-year-old child here in this article that is about 16-year-olds to 18-year-olds.
Yep.
It's because they want to invoke that emotional feeling. They want people to be outraged, to view this as, oh no, they're raping the kiddies. And whether or not you believe that to be true, I don't really care. The issue is that you're treating a person as though they're a different class of human being, as though they're a second-class citizen without rights.
And without reason.
And you're doing this on the basis of age. And that's disgusting. We wouldn't take away people's ability to consent, people's ability to drink, people's ability to vote when they hit retirement age.
No.
So why are you waiting until they hit this certain age to allow them to have those rights in the first place? If you're going to stick with the position that all people have innate human rights, then you kind of have to stick with that position across the board. You don't get to say, oh, well, until the person hits a certain age, they're the possession of their parents. They have no rights except those privileges granted to them by an authority figure. And we wonder why so many people believe that governments grant people rights. Well, we're raising people literally to believe that their rights are granted to them as privileges by their parents. All because they're too young to do anything about it. And then, of course, they go from that to being quote-unquote adults, where their rights are no longer granted by their parents. They're granted by this magical, protective, wondrous, benevolent thing called the government that bears no relationship to what the actual government is. This is the call to freedom.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Should you be able to earn an honest living free from senseless government interference? The Institute for Justice thinks so. That's why we've spent years defending hard-working men and women from pointless government regulations. Nationwide, IJ has created opportunity by reducing government power, but there is still more work to be done. Visit our website today at ij.org. Let IJ take care of the government so you can take care of your business.
The LRN.FM's social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com. Advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom, and maybe you really like the show and listen regularly to it and have been wondering how you can help and show your support. Well, social media shares certainly go a long way, but so does cash, and you can do that using Patreon at patreon.com/call-to-freedom. Our wonderful sponsors there are currently helping to keep the show up and running, including the podcast at calltofreedomlive.podbean.com, and we can't thank them enough for all of that. Again, if you would like to check it out, that's Call to Freedom Live. It's
patreon.com/Call
to Freedom. Yeah, sorry. It's so weird being a trans person on the internet. And I love it. I do. Not because of any identitarian reason or anything like that, just because it allows me to say anything I want to say. And nobody comments on it. Like, they will sit here having a 2.5-hour conversation now about my being trans and, you know, having male equipment and all this other stuff. And meanwhile, I'm just sitting here talking. Everything I say is entering their heads.
Yeah, and they're not noticing.
Totally unfiltered, totally unchallenged. It's planting itself there. And if they continue listening, at some point, it's going to become an influence in their minds. They're going to wake up one day and they're going to go, you know what? Compassion is nihilistic. Or you know what? That is messed up of government. So all those little seeds are being planted and they're not even noticing because they're so busy instead talking about my gender identity, which we have never brought up here on the show. Not since I've been in charge anyway.
Yeah, it's not our normal topic. It's
always someone else who brings it up.
I mean, it's not really something we really care to talk about. It's not that interesting anymore.
No, I can
what
be,
it is.
I can be provoked into talking about it, like with topics like this, but to me, it's just a fact of life. I mean, I don't give it much thought, to be totally honest. I love it, though.
You trans gardener planting seeds.
They're now calling me sneaky in the live chat. So some of them are listening, obviously, which is great. I would prefer people listen and, criticize the things I'm saying and not allow them into their heads unaffected. But absolutely, it's the danger of, that's why people listen to self-help books as they fall asleep and stuff like that, hoping that it's going to get planted into their head.
Yeah, it just soaks in, which a little bit of it might.
Yeah, but the subliminal thing isn't actually true. But we do know that people are influenced by the things they hear and see on television and radio and the internet and whatever. I think you probably would have known I was trans. To be fair, I know who I am. I know what I am.
It's not like we make any secret of it.
No, somebody says, they wouldn't have known I was trans. I think they probably would have figured it out. But hey, I appreciate the compliment nonetheless.
Well, if you're listening like audio only, then you might not know. But
true. But does DLive even do an audio only? I know that Twitch does. So anyway, that's all good stuff. I enjoy it. I was thinking about it earlier. In fact, how, they're just having this conversation. Meanwhile, we're just sitting here talking, and everything we say
is going right in their heads.
Yep. And that's great.
And that's sneaky of us.
So some Chinese people have been charged for the Anthem hack as one of the worst data breaches in history. I don't know anything about the Anthem hack. This is the first I've heard about it.
Company?
I don't know. It was a U.S. business that was hacked by what the Justice Department calls an extremely sophisticated hacking group, which usually means state-sponsored.
Yeah.
It does when we deal with, the Equation Group and people like that are quite clearly the NSA.
Of course, advanced just means they can do more than download Kali Linux and run Metasploit scripts.
Yeah, the Equation Group has actually been proven to be capable of intercepting, like, USB and FedEx shipments and rewriting firmware and uploading it onto the devices and then sending it back on its way. So that's the state. That's the NSA.
That is the NSA. Tailored Access Operations, though, they did change the name of that group recently, I think.
Well, it's the Equation Group, according to Kaspersky. That's their nickname for them.
Okay.
Anyway. They have a really terrifying report on the Equation Group and their capabilities. If you've never looked into it, I would definitely recommend it. The Equation Group is also believed was responsible for the virus that infected Iranian centrifuges, and that was co-created with the Israeli government, presumably, obviously. So the hack was disclosed in February 2015, and it compromised the sensitive personal data of approximately 78.8 million Americans. And Facebook, who we talked about earlier, is looking at that numbers and going, bruh, those are amateur numbers. We compromised the sensitive personal data of like 100 million people every week.
Everybody.
Wang and the other Chinese hackers used extremely sophisticated techniques, like customized spear phishing emails and backdoor malware to breach their targets. After penetrating corporate servers, the indictment says the hackers used lateral movement and privilege escalation to access more and more data. Now, what that means is they made themselves administrators, probably own a domain, and they went from computer to computer doing stuff. That's not hard to do. I don't know why they would characterize it as, lateral movement. That seems
you
like
break into one computer and that gives you access to break into the next one.
Right. After canvassing target networks for the data they wanted to steal, the intruders wrapped it up in an encrypted archive to obscure it as they moved it to servers they controlled. Investigators found intrusions into the Anthem network as early as May the 13th of 2014. The indictment mentions intrusions into the other victims' networks, and so on. The hackers continued breaching Anthem during this period. The other three companies, which are not named, were in the technology, basic materials, and communications services sectors. Prosecutors say that Wang controlled 2 domain names that were used to host malware and launch these spear phishing attacks. The Department of Justice and our law enforcement partners are committed to protecting P2? What the hell is that supposed to mean? What is that? There is no mention of that anywhere in this previous article.
Yeah.
You can't do things like that, Politico. You can't use acronyms without saying what the acronyms mean. And will aggressively prosecute perpetrators of hacking schemes like this wherever they may occur. Well, they might try to. I've certainly seen my fair share, having done IT work for the better part of the last 10 years.
PII, personally identifying information.
Oh, okay. Well, that's certainly an acronym they would have used. They should have used. That would be significantly more helpful than calling it PII.
Yeah, sure would have, but
Yeah, that's modern journalism for you, really. I absolutely agree. Adam Lance, free Ross Ulbricht. He provided a genuine service to humanity.
Yeah, Ross Ulbricht is a hero.
Absolutely. I would like to see him released. He released a heartbreaking tweet, I think it was just today, about how, he's looking back on all the time he's already spent in prison and how he's likely to still be there when he's 60, 70 years old. That's heartbreaking.
Very likely.
Kudos to him for still being alive. I wouldn't be. I'd be like, no, you want me to do this for the rest of my life? Then my life ends now, just so you know. I'm good on that. But I'm one of those freedom or death kind of people. So
no, live free or die.
Yeah, if given the opportunity, right, between life in prison or suicide or even death by the state, if they were going to do it quickly and not hold me forever or whatever, I would choose death. Absolutely.
The second part of that phrase is live free or die. Death is not the worst of evils.
It certainly isn't. The demolition of freedom would probably be the worst of evils, at least in my opinion. I realize other people may disagree, but I value freedom more than I do life.
Here's another thought to think about. Why do these security companies have to refer to government agencies by code names?
What do you mean?
Like the Equation Group instead of NSA or whatever.
Well, I think it's probably because they don't want to point their fingers directly at the NSA.
Yeah, but everybody knows who they are anyway.
Yeah, that's true. But they don't end up blaming the American government when they call them the Equation Group. There's like, the NSA did this thing, and yeah, it was the NSA. That opens them up, I think, to some sort of liability that they don't want. So instead they use a code name. And I guess technically it is possible that they are not a state organization, although they are. It's the NSA. Technically,
it's sponsored.
It's possible that they are independent. But hey, it's been the Call to Freedom. Don't go anywhere, though, because Free Talk Live is coming up next.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority